Now you can see here, the first part is, yesterday I have taken one session, but we could not explain in properly because of some time limit. So today I will give you complete idea without any time limit. So you can listen peacefully and you will get a lot of insights about history, complete syllabus of the history, and also the approach, how you have to study the history. I am sure after the end of this session, you will feel comfortable in studying history. So first one, let us see briefly about what are the items they have given in syllabus. Now, if you see this, the first part is Indus Valley Civilization, Vedic Age, Mahajanapadas, religions, Jainism and Buddhism. Then they talked about Magadhas, Mauryan, foreign invasions on India, Kushana, Satavahana, Sangam, Shunga, Gupta, and up to Gupta period, they have given in the first item. So this shows that this is the first part of history and it is ancient. It is the part of ancient Indian history. But if you take the trend, in 2019, there was hardly one question from this particular part from ancient India. But however, even though it is giving only one question, but understanding this part becomes a foundation for you to understand the rest of the points. That's why you should carefully study about this part. Next part is the Kanauj, then South Indian dynasties, then up to Kakatiyas and Reddys. Here you can see Kakatiyas and Reddys are two most important dynasties with respect to Andhra history. That is why, and the next point you can see the third one, Delhi Sultanate, Vijayanagara Empire, Bhakti movement. So here Vijayanagara Empire is there. In the second one, Kakatiya Empire is there. That's why probably, because these two empires are very important empires in the formation of modern Andhra Pradesh. These two empires contributed so much for the Telugu culture. Probably that is the reason they are asking more questions from these two parts. And if you see 2019 paper, 15 questions have come from just these two items. So now you see in the first one only one question, but in the second and third combinedly 15 questions. And now come to these two considered as medieval India. Now the fourth and fifth, sixth were part of modern India. Here it starts with the European trading companies in India, then struggle for supremacy, then the capture of British of India. Then later the fifth item is saying that the struggle for independence. Now fourth one is about the conquest of British. Fifth one is about Indians started fighting for the freedom. The first one is like a violent and also socio-religious reform movement started. In the sixth phase, Mahatma Gandhi's leadership provided peace and non-violence. So that's why the sixth part is about Gandhian phase. Fifth part is from revolt of 1857 till the rise of Mahatma Gandhi. The fourth one is about the conquest of British. So broadly, it is about modern India. 2 points is about medieval India. 1 point is about ancient India. So this is the broad structure of our syllabus. In 2019, totally 30 questions were there. In the first one, in the first segment, only one question. In the two segments, 15 questions. Fourth, fifth, sixth combinedly 14 questions were there. So totally 30 questions were there from Indian history. So now let us see how you have to study about entire history. What is the approach and what is the connection between first segment to the second segment and second segment to the third segment. For that, we have to understand our Indian geography. Let us see here. Students, is it clear up to this about the syllabus? Students, are you comfortable in this? So whatever I have explained you, this is about the segments of Indian history. Now, let us start from now you see this in the first segment. Here it talks about Indus Valley civilization. Next one is about Vedic age. Indus Valley civilization, India was not known about Indus Valley civilization till 1920s. In 1920s, freedom struggle was going on, Khilafat and non-cooperation movement was going on. It was under that circumstance Indus Valley civilization was discovered. But before that, we Indians were thinking that our Indian history started with the Vedic period. Now, if you take, this is the geographic location where Vedic people settled. Now you see this part. Now, do you see this? In the present day, which countries are located in this? Can you type in the chat box? In the modern times, which countries are located in the northwestern parts of our Indian subcontinent? Here, if you take, this is Afghanistan, then if it is here, Pakistan. So this is the region the early Vedic people were settling. Now, this is the location where these people have created Rig Veda. That's why early Vedic period is also called as Rigvedic period. Now, once later they migrated to the Gangetic Valley. Now, this is the place where they have created 3 more Vedas. What are these Vedas? Sama Veda, Yajur Veda, Atharva Veda. That's why if you study about Vedic period, you have to study about this entire geographic location. Early Vedic period means Rig Veda, and later Vedic period is about Sama Veda, Yajur Veda, Atharva Veda. We know about these people only from these Vedas. Now, if you take the life of these people is rural in nature. They lived in rural areas, and also their main economic activities is domestication of animals. Cow is the many important animal for these people. Now, when they came to Gangetic Valley, here their main profession is agriculture. Because here you can see the mountainous region. Because of mountainous region, it becomes difficult for agriculture. Whereas in the Gangetic Valley, agriculture is very important segment of subsistence. Now, this has led to the formation of kingdoms. Now, if you see Mahabharata story and Ramayana story, they happened in the Gangetic Valley. Now, do you see this? Mahabharata and Ramayana stories belong to later Vedic time period. I will show you the images. Do you see here? Kuru and Panchala, these are the countries or the kingdoms that flourished. Kosala is Ramayana story. Lord Rama belongs to this. And Kuru, it is the Pandavas and the Kauravas.
467.
Hello, is it clear? Hello, do you have any issue? So if you have any issue, you can ask me doubt. I will pause in between. You can ask me doubts. So first you please listen. So this is the area where Pandavas and Kauravas were fighting for the land. This is Mahabharata region. This is Ramayana region. So these two were developments in later Vedic period. Now you can see this is the area where kingdoms emerged. Now these kingdoms laid the foundation for next large kingdoms. Those kingdoms called Mahajanapadas. Now, if we see our syllabus, now come to this syllabus. Here, this is Vedic age and later Mahajanapadas. Now, do you see 2 important segments in our syllabus? Item number 1, this is Vedic age and Mahajanapadas. Now, you can see in the early Vedic period, cow was the main element, and in the later Vedic period, agriculture, it led to the creation of kingdoms and later developed into large kingdoms called Mahajanapadas. Janapadas means kingdoms, Mahajanapadas means great kingdoms. Now later, just before Vedic age, we are seeing Indus Valley civilization. Now come back to this. Now here you observe, before later Vedic period or in the early Vedic period, these people were depending on agriculture, or even before that, domestication of animals. But much before, now you see this, much before Vedic people came, some people lived in cities. Now this shows that the people who lived before Vedic people, Rigvedic people, are much advanced in nature and they lived in cities. This civilization we call Indus Valley civilization. Rigvedic period, the time period is 1500 to 1000 BC. Later Vedic period is about 1000 BC to 600 BC. Here you can see between 1500 to 1000 BC, people lived in domestication of animals as the subsistence. But before this, these people lived from 2500 BC to 1750 BC. Now you see, before Rigvedic period itself, some people were living in cities. That is why Indus Valley civilization occupies a very significant role in our history. That is why this has become major weapon in the hands of our freedom fighters. As I said in the beginning itself, this was discovered. In which year Indus Valley civilization discovered? Can you type in the chat box? In 1921. So this exactly Sheikh. So in 1921 it was discovered. Now you understand the importance of this great discovery. Before 1921, people were thinking that our history started with Rigvedic. That means only cow and small domestication of animals. But after the discovery of this, it became a weapon in the hands of Indian freedom fighters. They started countering the British narrative. What is the British narrative? British narrative is the British used to say that British used to say India was not a civilized one. Just a second. How can I pause here? I want to mute all the students so that if someone is not able to mute it, I can mute here. Yes, now it will not disturb us. Okay, students, now it's clear. Now here, the British, they used to say that India was not a civilized country. We Indians always dependent on other countries, and we don't know how to live in cities, or we don't know culture at all. So this has become a major weapon after 1920, and our Indians counter attacked the British narrative that the racial supremacy theory, and also the British providential theory that they came to India to civilize. We Indians started telling them that you need not to civilize us. Much before Vedic age itself, we were much civilized one, and we lived in cities, great cities, much before other countries like European countries were still living in forest areas. So that is why Indus Valley civilization is very important one. Now, this is the syllabus part that begins with, our history begins with Indus Valley civilization. As part of this syllabus, we need to study about what are the features, sites, society, cultural history, art, and religion. So we have to study about what the contribution of Indus Valley people, and after Indus Valley Vedic people came, and after Vedic, later Vedic to Mahajanapadas. So students, is it clear? Now you have to connect this history in sequential manner. Only if you understand the logic one by one, then it becomes easy for you to understand history. Now come to the Mahajanapada period. Now here you can see the Mahajanapada period. Here you can see Magadha, Kashi, Kuru, Panchala, Gandhara, Kamboja. These are various Mahajanapadas. There were total 16 Mahajanapadas. And in this, Magadha was very powerful one. Now, if you see Kuru, Panchala, Kosala, these three kingdoms were very powerful in later Vedic period. Later Vedic period up to 1000 BC to 600 BC. But after 600 BC, these kingdoms emerged. Kuru, Panchala, Kosala, they are not that strong comparing with new kingdoms like Magadha. Now, this Magadha became so powerful that gradually it started expanding into different parts, and finally by the time Mauryans came, almost entire Indian subcontinent came under single administration. Now I will show you the map how Magadha started expanding. Now you can see this map. Now it is the beginning. Now you see how Magadha is expanding under various dynasties. Nanda dynasty, now Chandragupta Maurya. Now you can see Chandragupta Maurya expansion, Bindusara, Ashoka. Now this is the period when Ashoka came, almost entire Indian subcontinent came under Mauryans. So the empire name is Magadha, but the dynasty name is Maurya. You have to see the differentiation between Magadha and Maurya. Magadha is kingdom. That kingdom was ruled by different dynasties. Initially like Haryanka dynasty, important ruler called Bimbisara belongs to Haryanka dynasty. Later Shishunaga dynasty. Later Nanda dynasty. And later Mauryan dynasty. So same kingdom name called Magadha ruled by many dynasties. That is how Magadha expanded by overthrowing the power of all the other kingdoms. So this is how you have to understand the Mahajanapada time period. Now you can see the Vedic age, you know now, Mahajanapadas also, you know. One of the Mahajanapadas, Magadha, became very powerful. Later it expanded into empire size. Now next, around 600 BC. Now I will show this Google Earth. You will understand better. Now you see here. This is Indian subcontinent. Now this is Gangetic Valley. When later Vedic people settled, later kingdoms emerged here. And this is the location. Here you can see in Bihar region. This is the beginning point of the Magadha Empire. And from there, entire India came under single administration. Now you see here, during the early Vedic people, now early Vedic people were settling in this region. Now if you see this, these are hilly terrains. Now do you see a lot of hilly regions? Now if I show you this way, now you can see a lot of hilly areas. Now early Vedic people, they used to migrate from Central Asia to this particular location. This is particularly important because these migrations are common throughout our history. Now you see here, these are the mountainous region. Just a second. So this is the, now students, do you have any doubts so far? Now this is important. If you have clarity up to this point, then rest of the history becomes easy for you. So if you have any doubts, you can please ping me in the chat so that I will unmute you. If you want to ask any doubts, if any student wants to ask any doubt, you just message me in the chat box that you want to ask the doubt, then I will unmute you. Any doubts you have so far? So far, are you clear? Or just type, if you are clear, you can type yes. If you did not understand anything so far, you can ask me the doubt. Okay, yes. Now see, this part is important because after Mahajanapada period, a major development is about to happen in this location. Now you see Kabul region. Now this is completely hilly area. Now according to some theories, the Vedic people also came from this Caspian Sea. You can see here. This is the Central Asian part. One branch of Aryans, the Vedic people are also called Aryans. This is called Aryan migration theory. These Aryans came from this Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, Kazakhstan area. One branch came down to northwestern parts of India. One branch went to Iran. One branch went to Turkey region. One branch went to Europe. That is why Sanskrit language, Greek language, and Latin. Here you can see Greek. Here Rome. Roma is the Roman Empire. During Roman Empire, Latin is the important language. So Greek and Latin on this side, Sanskrit on this side, both have some kind of common features. That's why scholars are having the opinion that there is some kind of connection between Sanskrit speaking people and Greek speaking people. That is why the theory shows somewhere connection between Central Asia is there. From Central Asia, they started migrating to other places. Now during Mahajanapada time period, same thing is about to happen. Now this time, many people started coming from Central Asia. So before that, do you know Alexander the Great? Alexander the Great, he belongs to which country? Students, can you type in the chat box? Alexander the Great, he belongs to which region or which modern country? Any idea? He belonged to Greece. Now you see here, Greece is the region. Now from here, Alexander, yes, Greece. Now this is the region. Now you can see, observe here, Greece and Bulgaria. Now this is the region. The armies of Alexander conquered the Central Asian empires. Now Central Middle East empire, and he conquered Iran. He conquered Afghanistan area, and he reached up to northwestern parts of India. That is why many Greek people are also settled by the time Mauryans came to power. Now this is the time period around 326 BC. Now I will show in the map itself. Now you can see this. Now this is the location. he came to this part around 326 BC. So by 326 BC, here Nandas were ruling Magadha Empire. Now after this, Mauryans, Chandragupta Maurya established Mauryan dynasty. That's why by 326 BC, in the northwestern parts, Greek people settled in the northwest. Now this is important. So Greek foreigners, they came to settle in northwestern part of India. Now after this, some other people also started coming from Central Asia. Now here you can see from the Central Asian part, different people called Kushanas. Now I will give you this. Now if you take India map, now here Greeks came. Now from this part, Shakas. Then from this part, Parthians. That means Iranian people. And after Shakas, Kushan also came. Now this is how the migrations from Central Asia were always there. So this is Shakas, Greeks, Parthians, and Kushanas. Now one by one, Greeks are going to be replaced by Shakas. Later, Shakas are going to be replaced by Kushanas. So if you consider this part, this is the area Kanishka was ruling. Kanishka belonged to Kushanas. Now here, mainly in the western part, Shakas occupied. Now if you see Satavahana history, Satavahanas are going to rule here. Satavahanas were constantly fighting against Shakas. Now here, these Kushanas, Kanishkas, and here Satavahanas were ruling. And before Kanishka, Kushanas were there. Here, after Mauryans, Shungas were ruling. In the Orissa region, there was a ruler called Kharavela. So after post-Mauryan period, or after Mauryas, different Central Asian people started ruling, and different Indian rulers also started ruling. So this is how Shungas, Kharavela, Shatavahanas, Shakas started ruling. Now after these people are going to be replaced completely by new dynasty called Guptas. So that is how for some time Guptas started ruling. Now this continuously, this kind of replacement of the new dynasties will continuously go on. Now one ruler will replaced by other rulers. Now you can see here Mauryas were there. After Mauryas, many kingdoms came. And after many kingdoms, once again, Guptas emerged. Now Guptas also from Pataliputra, Allahabad region, they started ruling almost almost northern India and Deccan. And here they were having matrimonial relationship with Vakatakas. So indirectly, they were ruling Deccan region as well. So after Mauryas, to some extent, Guptas ruled almost entire Indian subcontinent. Now in the deep south, there were some people called Sangam age people. Now these Cholas, Chera and Pandyas, three important kingdoms were there. Chola, Chera, Pandya. These are belongs to Sangam age. So this is how you have to see. Now let us see this. Up to Indus Valley civilization, Mahajanapadas done. The Magadhas, Mauryan, foreign invasions on India and their impact. Kushanas, Satavahanas, Sangam age, Shungas, Gupta Empire. So up to this Gupta Empire, now we have to study about what is their administration, how religions were there, how economic conditions were there, what they contributed for science and technology, literature, architecture in every dynasty. So that is what entire ancient India. Now do you get? Now almost we have done the first part of the syllabus, except this one, religions, Jainism and Buddhism. Here we need to understand in one area. Here you can see this. When Mauryans were there, when Mauryans were there, when Mauryans were there, this is how students, how we are going to deal with the history subject. So with the geography, we will be able to understand the logic behind every development in our history. So we have dealt with the ancient in this session. Now, similarly, now the next developments are going to take place in the early medieval period and late in medieval time period. And after that, modern time period will come. Now, this time, threats will not come from northwestern parts of India, but from the oceans. This is where many European companies started coming through ocean, and they established their colonies initially near the coastal areas. Later, when they get the opportunity, when there was no single strong centralized authority in India, they involved in the conflicts of local kingdoms. They captured continuously. So that is how British emerged victorious because of lack of unity among Indians. British emerged as the winners, and they commanded a huge empire that has ever seen in the history of India. So almost after Mauryans and Guptas and Mughals, British almost tried to command almost entire subcontinent of the Indian subcontinent. So this is how we are going to deal with our history. Now, Mynds Academy is coming up with two types of courses. One is dedicated history module. If you are interested to join only history module, you can join in this course. And there is other course which is part of entire prelims course. In that course, history subject also will be taught to you. So there are two types of courses. One is a dedicated history course. Another one is as part of prelims complete course. So for details, you please contact the management of Mynds Academy. Thank you. In this session, we have dealt with how to analyze our history syllabus, and we have dealt with the ancient part of the history. And we will deal in the similar pattern by seeing the geography, and we will come to know how different developments took place in different parts of the country. Thank you. Thank you. We'll see you in the course. Thank you very much.